and some great new game stuff to show you guys as well. The Xbox story for Series X, of course, started last year at the Game Awards when we revealed the Xbox Series X hardware on stage. I certainly miss memories of thousands of people together and the excitement of shocking the world with that announcement last year. That was such a special moment that no one had any clue it was about to happen, and we revealed the hardware there. But of course, everyone wants to know about the games that are going to run on the system. And today is all about a game that was sort of mentioned in that teaser, Halo Infinite. We are going to get a first look at the gameplay of the campaign of Halo Infinite in the Xbox Game Showcase. That's something that we're all very excited to see. I'm sure we'll be talking about that a lot over the next hour. And Xbox has already said we're not going to hear a lot about hardware today. We don't expect to hear the release date for Series X. We don't expect to hear about pricing. It really is going to be a showcase all about games and focused a lot more on their first-party studios, meaning games that are coming exclusively to the Xbox ecosystem, which of course includes Game Pass and PC and even xCloud. There's a lot to talk about kind of what Xbox is doing with gaming and their approach. So we've got some world premieres for you, and we've got a lot of guests. So let's get ready for the countdown here. 58 minutes away from the show. Before we get to our first world premiere, though, I want to welcome some panelists to talk about what we're expecting today from Xbox. So first up, joining me is my good buddy, Jack Septiceye. Jack, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's good to be here. Thankfully, it's
great
a reasonable hour.
Early in the morning in Los Angeles. We've also got Lauren Side here. Lauren, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to see you as well. And finally, we've got a guy who got to go up to Microsoft and check out the Xbox Series X hardware before lockdown. Austin Evans. Austin, good to have you with us, man.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, great to have all you guys here. So let's kick things off here by talking about what you want to see from Xbox today. They had an event back in May that people wanted to see even more from. They wanted to see, more gameplay, more games. They wanted to see Halo. They're going to deliver that today. What are your expectations as fans of games? What do you want to see at the top of the hour from Xbox? Let's start with you, Jack.
The big elephant in the room, the big chief elephant in the room is everyone just wants to see Halo Infinite. And I'm really curious because I'm not the biggest Halo fan, but this one has kind of gotten me intrigued and excited. So I'm curious to see about that. I want to see more Hellblade 2 if we're going to get some of that, because when we saw that trailer at the Game Awards and we were sitting in that theater and that music kicked in and rocked everyone's socks, I was really impressed with that and seeing what the hardware could kind of do in engine there. I'm a sucker for FromSoft games. My heart's going to be broken when we don't see Elden Ring today, but it's been so long since it was announced. I need to see it somewhere and see that it still exists. And as long as I get a good world premiere, I'll be happy.
Oh, wait. We got the world premiere voice guy actually doing the voice here when we come to our first world premiere.
So it's Christmas.
I'm here to take care of you. But yes, as you said, everyone would love to see Elden Ring. Everyone would love to see new game announcements too. You mentioned Halo. Lauren, is that the big thing for you? Like seeing Halo, what are you excited to see?
No. So I feel like Halo was like my first introduction into like first person shooter games and why I should not play them because I'm horrible at them. But that was like my first, it holds a special place in my heart because like that was the first time realizing I was terrible at them. I'm really excited. I'm big into like psychological horror games. So the medium, I really, really want to see more about. I want to see gameplay. They haven't told us a whole lot about it, but I'm living for it, like the Silent Hill music, everything. And Everwild is the other one I'm really interested for, like to see more about, because both of those are kind of a mystery. I haven't seen much on them.
Oh, that's great, because as you said, there are lots of other games across the studios. Everwild that they teased last year at EXO from Rare looked really interesting. I agree. Hopefully we'll get to see something on that. Tim Schafer's got Psychonauts that, they acquired that studio. Hopefully there'll be an update on that one. And as you said, Microsoft's got so many studios, so many games across the portfolio that I think we'll get hopefully some new game announcements and also some updates on those existing ones. Austin, you are one of the few people I think in the world that got to check out Series X. I remember you did you got to check out Gears, how that was looking on the hardware and everything like that. So you have a really interesting perspective on this. What do you want to see at Xbox today?
So, I mean, I love the nerdy details, right? I want to see the 120 FPS and the HDR and all the ray tracing. I'm really interested in seeing kind of like what this next generation is able to do as far as pushing the envelope forward, right? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be all over Halo. I really want to see what they're able to do, especially considering that that's going to be a game that will be on Xbox One and sort of assuming PC and Series X, and kind of seeing how they're able to stretch that. And I'm definitely a huge fan of the Forza franchise, right? I mean, that's sort of been really, you look back at the Xbox One generation for me, I have definitely spent more time playing for the Forza games as well as the Horizon games more than anything else, right? So that's definitely has like a special place in my heart from the gaming side. But what I'm really curious about is getting a really good look at kind of what this new slate of titles look like, right? I mean, obviously we know that there are a bunch of games that are coming out sort of holiday season. I'm assuming we're probably going to see some games kind of teased for the next maybe year or two or whatever the case is. But I really want to see a good sense of what the Xbox Series X is capable of, right? I've seen little bits and pieces. I got to try a couple of tech demos. I know the specs. I know all the kind of the basic stuff. But what I really want to do is kind of see how all of that comes together and brings what this next generation is all about.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. It's, they keep saying how powerful this console is. Like, we want to see that power, right? And see what this is able to do. And Microsoft's philosophy on Xbox that Phil Spencer has expressed is, a little bit different than PlayStation. They're saying that all these games are going to show you today conceivably will still work on your current Xbox, will work on PC, and they might, they work better on the new Xbox. But I'm curious for you guys, how does that affect your sort of decision on what you're going to do with Xbox? Like, what's going to cause you to want to upgrade to the next system? Because it's different. That, Halo, as you said, will work probably on, if you have an Xbox right now, it'll work on the current system. So I assume part of what they have to show today is why it's going to be even better on the next one.
Yeah,
I
think for
definitely what I expect.
Yeah, I think for me, what I like most about the Xbox that kind of sits in my house is, like, we always get Sony with their exclusives, and I would love to see some really cool exclusives come out of Microsoft today. It's the thing that people keep talking about all the time. But I love the kind of home entertainment aspect of my Xbox. I love the kind of UI and the speed of the system, and kind of sitting down. I use it for everything. I only use my PlayStation for gaming, but I really use my Xbox for almost everything. I watch Netflix on it. I watch movies, and I play my 4K Blu-rays and everything on it because my PlayStation couldn't do that. So I'm really curious to see how they evolve kind of the OS of the system and make it snappier and faster, and how you're able to switch between games on the fly, and being able to have all of those old games be playable on the new one. They keep talking about backwards compatibility a lot and how that's a big factor for them. And I'm curious to see how far that goes and how many games you can really play with that, and how far they're pushing it. And stuff like Game Pass has come out, and it's kind of a game changer, because there's so many times when I just go on and I don't want to buy a new game, but Game Pass is a good way of kind of trying it out and testing it and just downloading it there and playing straight away. And I really love that aspect. So I want to see how far they push that. And xCloud, I think, is what their trump card will be this time, at least for me personally, the way I consume the media on my Xbox.
Yeah, no, I think that, as you said, the Game Pass is another big part of it. That, a lot of these games now come out as part of Game Pass. I think Microsoft has said kind of all their first-party titles are in Game Pass, and that, I think, lets people sample more games. Right? It's no longer like you have to spend $60 to play everything. Austin, I wanted to ask you about the specs and the frame rates and all that type of stuff. You live in the world of tech and RDNA architectures and whatnot. Like, what do you think? What does that all mean to the gamers? Like, how do you think the games are going to be different, or what are the things we should look for here in ray tracing and things like that? Like, what do you think are going to be some of the big leaps that we're going to see in some of these games, hopefully today?
So I think the interesting way of looking at sort of the previous generation, sort of Xbox One, PS4, going into this new generation, is that it's a much more well-rounded package, right? So you look at something like the Xbox Series X, spec-wise, it is equivalent to a very high-end gaming PC. That's not something we've seen in the console space for a long time, right? You look at the Xbox One, it had good graphics, right? It was able to provide some really impressive games. You look at something like Red Dead 2 running on an original Xbox One. It's really impressive that was able to be sort of accomplished. But the thing is, this generation with the Series X, we have not only the SSD, which I think people are going to very quickly get used to, not minute load times, but a few second load times. But also you have that really powerful CPU, which is going to enable these bigger open worlds, sort of more interesting looking physics. And then you have on the graphics side, not only sort of more detailed things. And I think the higher frame rates are something that, especially as more and more TVs are developing that sort of tech, that people are going to really start to appreciate. But also these new features like ray tracing, right? Which are just going to help ground these worlds in a much more sort of realistic sort of location. Like, I guess for me, it's more about making the console a much more complete package, right? You're not sort of sacrificing because you're playing on your PC versus your Xbox or anything. Like, you're going to be getting a very similar level of performance. And in a lot of cases, something like the Series X is going to be significantly more powerful than any other gaming device in your home.
Yep. All right. Well, hopefully we're going to get to see some of that. Lauren, you get the last word here. Anything you're hoping is a surprise today? You talked about some of the games we know about, like the Medium and Everwild. Anything that you're secretly hoping they show here in some way?
I was looking yesterday to see if there was anything I could think of that like they could surprise me with. I've personally been more of like PC gamer, PlayStation. So if they can surprise me and pull me in with more like Xbox exclusives. I mean, Game Pass has been a game changer for me. I've been using that a lot lately. So just like bringing me into that ecosystem, if they can do that, like then they've surprised me. So
no, and that's part of what they're trying to do here is you said, you can play all this stuff on your PC, you can play, on your phone via xCloud, and like, bringing more games to more people. So as you said, hopefully we'll see a bunch of games today, right? And we know Halo is going to be a big focus, but obviously they've got a lot of other things to fill out that hour. All right. Well, thanks, Lauren, Austin, and Jack. We will see you guys later. We'll all be watching live. And we do have some special world premieres throughout this show. We've got a number. I think we've got over, a half dozen things we're going to show you guys over the next 45 minutes here to give you a little preview of some stuff that will be coming to Xbox. And we're going to start right now with this world premiere announcement. Check it out.
World premiere.
You're the reincarnation of the Luminary.
Know this. The Luminary is the root of all evil and will bring naught but misery to our realm.
A hero will surely arise to take the sword in hand once more.
.1986年に日本で第一作目となるドローンクエストというロールプレイングゲームを発売して今年で34周年を迎えました。今回シリーズ本編最新作のドローンクエスト 11S が Xbox プラットフォームで発売され、さらにゲームパスにも登場します。なんと Xbox にドローンクエストが初登場ということで僕も大変嬉しく思います。今日は皆さんにドローンクエスト 11S の魅力を紹介していきたいと思います。ドローンクエストでは自分自身が主人公になって魅力あふれる仲間と共に世界を救う壮大な冒険の旅に出ます。冒険の舞台はロテゼタシアというさまざまな地形がある広大な世界です。街は武器を買ったりクエストを受けたりできる冒険の拠点です。重要な話も聞けるでしょう。モンスターとのバトルでは戦士や魔法使い、盗賊、武闘家などキャラクターの特性を生かした戦術で戦います。出現するモンスターも可愛いものから恐ろしいものまで多くのモンスターがいます。今戦闘しているスライムは1作目から登場している人気者なんですよ。その他にも昔懐かしい 2D モードや過去のシリーズの作品の世界を体験できるサブクエストなどのやり込み要素も満載です。いよいよ Xbox プラットフォームに登場する日本の RPG の王道ドローンクエスト 11S をお楽しみください。発売は2020年12月4日です。それではまた。
There you go. Dragon Quest coming for the first time to Xbox. And now we're going to get right into another world premiere. This is a brand new game announcement. A smaller team and studio that has a new title to announce today on the pre-show. So take a look at this. All right, that's Exomecha, a brand new free-to-play game coming in late 2021, and that's a first look at that. We do have more new games and some cool stuff. We've got something very cool to wrap up the pre-show as our last premiere that I'm really excited to share with you guys. So stick around. And of course, at the top of the hour, we're going to get a look at a lot of the first-party games from Microsoft, including the world gameplay debut of Halo Infinite. Right now, though, we're going to turn to our second panel to preview what we're hoping, all our hopes and dreams for Xbox today. Joining me first off is Aaron Hansen from the Game Grumps. Aaron, you ready for Blinks?
Oh, dude, you're way ahead of me, brother. I was all blinked up, and you just brought the heat, man.
You've been waiting all summer for this moment. Will the time sweeper return? All right. Good to have you with us, Aaron. We got Danny O'Dwyer from No Clip. Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing,
now,
man?
though,
I'm
we're
just
going
really
to
happy
turn to our second
for,
panel to preview what we're hoping,
Blinks. He's been
all
waiting
our
for
hopes and dreams for Xbox.
Was it a month since we talked on PlayStation?
Dreams for Xbox today.
You know, forget all these
joining me first
all
off
these new
is
studios
Aaron
and all these
Hansen
new games
from
that
the
all
Game
their
Grumps.
acquisitions
Aaron,
are going to do.
ready for Blinks?
It's all about the Blinks.
Bring back the time sweeper, right? That's clearly the closer of the show, right? You must know something. And finally, we've got Alana Pierce joining us. Hey, Alana.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. All right, you're all chipper. We're ready to go. This is Xbox Day. Going to be hopefully some excitement for all of us with what Xbox has in store. So